Hello everyone, it's 9 o'clock. Let us begin this heart-focused breathing technique, our routine on Monday morning. So this is your Monday morning espresso shot. And let us begin by placing the awareness in the area of our heart and take slow deep breaths and visualize these flowing in and out of our hearts. Take slow, deep breaths and visualize these breaths flowing in and out of your hearts. The breaths are slow and deep, deeper than normal. Allows your body to settle in and reduce the unnecessary energy drain. Allow your body to just slow right down. This is the 15 minutes you have this morning to just be. Replenish your energy by taking slow deep breaths and visualizing these flowing in and out of your heart. Allow the breaths to be gentle and with ease. Like the waves of the ocean that just come to the shore and are drawn back to the source. Wonderful. Thank you for that wonderful experience this morning. And now, this is the moment. This is the I didn't know that moment. Now, perhaps some of you already knew that. what we're going to talk about today. I hinted at it in my email this morning. Is that what is your heart trying to tell you? And in this conversation, we're going to look at our heart has a rhythmic pattern, a signature, if you may. And that signature basically tells you most of the things you need to know about where you're at and where you're going in terms of your body, your physiology, your emotional self. And so let's begin with a simple concept of the heart rate variability. Now, if you look at the bottom of this graph, you will see that this is every heartbeat that's plotted on this graph. This is every time your heart beats, it makes this signature. This is the electric signature that it makes when you measure it. Now, you will notice that the distance in time between the heart rates, each one of these heart rates, this distance here, is actually different from the previous one. And the reason it's different from the previous one is because that's how your autonomic nervous system operates. And it's not meant to be exactly the same. When a physician actually puts his hand on your wrist to measure your heart rate, he or she is actually looking at it from an average perspective of over a minute. But in essence, every heartbeat has a different representation of what that rate is. And so what this graph does is it actually plots the beats per minute represented by a single heartbeat. So you can see on this graph that your heart rate, after every heartbeat, your heart speeds up slowly and then comes right back down gently, if this is a balanced person. So you see that when you take a deep breath in, your heart goes up, your heart rate goes up, and as you exhale, it goes back down again, and as you inhale, goes back up again. Now, does that remind you of a breathing technique that you are aware of? Well, of course, it's the breathing technique that we've done and we've always been doing for the past month or so. That's the heart-focused breathing technique. So when we breathe in the way that we just did a few minutes ago, our heart rate variability has this kind of a signature. Okay? So taking slow, deep breaths in and visualizing these breaths flowing in and out of our hearts very slowly and deeply creates this signature profile of your heart rate. So far, so good. Now, let's look at what that means. So, according to the heart rate variability article that was written by some researchers at HeartMath and was published recently in Global Advances in Health and Medicine, according to that paper, there's an optimal level of HRV, which is the heart rate variability. That's a rhythmic signal we saw. That actually relates to how you can tolerate and adapt to stress. And they say that too much instability, and I'll show you in a second what that instability means and what that looks like in your heart rate signature, but it drains your energy unnecessarily. So you can imagine that if you're having a lot of instability in your heart, that by the end of the day, you're drained, you're tired, you want to go to sleep. Too little variation, and the variation are, and I'll show you what that variation is in the next slide, refers to chronic age or chronic stress and aging, premature aging. So really, you want to have an optimal level of heart rate variability in terms of the rhythmic signature, and understand that too much instability will cause a drain on your energy systems, and too little variation means that you have chronic illnesses or you're far advanced in age. All right. So let us talk about the rhythmic patterns. What that really means when we talk about these three things. Here's a rhythmic pattern signature. It's called the heart rate variability, and this can be measured either in laboratories, or you can buy units from HeartMath folks that is for personal use, and you can actually measure this thing for yourself. The heart rate variability you'll see on the top chart here. This is what it means by instability. Now, that doesn't necessarily mean you're going to have a heart attack, but it certainly means you're not performing optimally. That's all it means. And so what happens is when you experience frustration or anger or sadness, when you experience these things, what ends up happening is that your heart rate signature actually looks like this. Very jaggedy, very chaotic, so to speak. And so what that does also is creates a condition known as cortical inhibition. That means you can't think clearly. And so that heart rate signature that you have there also helps shut down your intelligence, or at least reduce the level of your intelligence. Look at the chart at the bottom though. This is the actual rhythmic pattern that we went through when we did the quick coherence or the heart focused breathing technique, which is take slow deep breaths in, visualize them flowing into your heart, and exhale, visualize these flowing out of your heart. When you do these slow and deep breaths, you create this wonderful pattern, and this pattern is actually formed when you have a lot of appreciation. So taking those deep, gentle breaths will also form this rhythmic pattern, but when you create that sense of appreciation, it actually creates a situation called cortical facilitation, which means that you become more intelligent. You actually begin to think long term, and you're less panicked about things. So this is, when you look at your heart rhythm, it actually tells you a lot about you and how your aging process is, and how ill you are or how chronically stressed you are. So your heart is very important when it comes to regulating your emotions, regulating your physiology, boosting your immune system. And that is essentially what your heart is trying to tell you. Now, here are some of the results. In the same paper that I mentioned, they found some of the results. So you'll see students with ADHD showed significant improvements in memory, focus, and behavior. They also studied 41 fighter jet pilots that were running simulation exercises. They found that these pilots had higher levels of performance and lower levels of frustration. They also looked at soldiers who were diagnosed with PTSD. These soldiers were the ones that came from Iraq in the recent years. They found that doing the breathing techniques actually significantly improved the ability for them to respond intelligently under pressure and improve their focus. And if you know PTSD, people who suffer from PTSD, they are extremely reactive and they get triggered because of the situation that they faced abroad. So these are actual scientific papers published in, or actually this publication published in Global Advances in Health and Medicine. So this is exactly what your heart rhythm tells you. Now, later on, we're going to be. When you exit out of this program, you'll see that you will be led to a web page, and there's a special by March 15th that if you register for the 4-week Heart Math coaching program, it's quite significantly dropped. All right, now let's go back to the quick coherence technique, and we will begin. We'll add one more thing to the quick coherence technique, and that one more thing will be just adding the level of appreciation in our hearts. So we're going to do exactly the two things, and we're going to draw in the feeling of love and appreciation in our hearts. So let us begin. Let us place our awareness in the area of our hearts and start taking slow, deep breaths and visualize these flowing in and out of our hearts area. Take gentle and slow breaths and visualize that beautiful heart rhythm signature that you want to create, so that your body begins to slow the aging process, to boost your immune system, and to improve your overall outlook in life. Slow, deep breaths. Put a gentle smile on your face, and now begin to experience a positive feeling. And it's something that you may want to bring forward from a past experience, or something that you're looking forward to. And that is something also valid, because your body doesn't know the difference whether you're experiencing it now or you are imagining it. So take slow, deep breaths. Visualize these flowing in and out of your heart. slower, gentler, deeper. Allow it to flow. Now I went a minute or two over in the I didn't know that moment. So continue this quick coherence technique and draw it in your heart. And anyone who needs to leave, it's 9:15 now, please feel free to do so. I won't feel bad. But in the meantime, just continue this technique for another minute so that we can get the full exposure and experience with everybody on this call. And we're connecting from our hearts, and the amplification of that is just amazing. Put a gentle smile on your face while you're taking the slow, deep breaths. Excellent. Now you can continue to take these slow, deep breaths as we're going through the Q&A. So if anyone has any questions, feel free to type those in, and I'm happy to respond. Has anyone noticed anything when they're practicing this throughout the day? Has there been any shifts, any thoughts? Now, it's normally what happens is you may not have noticed anything, but others may say something to you that they're wondering, why are you so different, and what's so different about you? Now, mind you, you have to be doing this 15-20 minutes a day for 3 to 4 weeks or 6 weeks for people to notice a change. But I'm wondering, yes, thank you, Sandy. Sandy says it's been a calming pause. Yes, isn't that interesting? Like, it just arrests everything. All your stresses, it just kind of says, okay, hold on. And your body's trying to tell you that there's nothing that's you're not in imminent danger. And so you've got a situation where you can take a stop, take a pause, and begin to take slow, deep breaths. And what that does is actually allows your body to begin to recharge your batteries from inside. Thank you for your comment, Sandy. Natalie, you're most welcome. You're most welcome. Great. If there are no questions, and I've actually received emails from people asking me questions about certain things. Always happy to respond to those emails, of course. Sandy note that was at a training series from Friday to Sunday. People opened up. Mire to me. Maybe you want to explain that a bit, Sandy. Sorry. People opened up more to you. Oh, okay. So you were at a training series Friday to Sunday, and I assume, Sandy, you were actually doing the training yourself, and you were practicing the coherent breathing technique, and people were opening up to you, more to you. And I assume that is something that is new, a different level for you, and a different level for your clients to experience. And if that's really the case, that actually is, amazing. Because when you actually build that coherent field, when you start doing this coherent breathing technique, you actually build this magnetic field that has a signature of calmness. And it's actually shown by HeartMath folks that you actually have your emotional signature imprinted on the magnetic field of your heart, which is just a bubble that surrounds you. And when that happens, other people feel that, and they feel, oh, I want to open up to you. And that is so amazing. If that's what you were going for, that's brilliant, because now you're becoming a healer on top of your vocation, whatever you're. I assume you were teaching people how to sing, and that was your thing. So, this is amazing. This is amazing. Thank you for sharing that. Natalie, actually, I'm doing this since a while, and it saved my butt at my office last year. I assume that the person that was the object of your wrath, or potential object of your wrath, also appreciated your ability to manage your emotions. So thank you for sharing that, Natalie. Natalie, I know you. I can't imagine you getting angry, but you're a sweet, gentle soul. But I can just imagine that if you felt that amazing, that helps you preserve that relationship, and that's beautiful. Thank you for sharing that. You're welcome, Tracy. Natalie, I'm well known for staying totally calm. Whatever happens, and last year was extreme stressful, I wouldn't have made it. Wow, I think you would have made it. This just made it a little easier. You are more resilient than you think. But I'm so glad that this helped take the edge off. And that's what these techniques do, is they help take the edge off. It gets you into that state of pause, and allows you to make the right decision based on what your heart's wisdom is telling you. And I'm so excited to hear that. Yes, Tracy, that's amazing. It's actually true. I mean, that's why people open up to you. Is not only do they open up to you, and when they share things with you, and you may want to test this, is that you won't feel drained after. And that's the whole idea. You will not feel drained after, because you're just beaming so much with compassion that it actually charges you up. And when it charges you up, when you're doing that, and other people are healed by it, it charges them up. And when it charges them up, their magnetic field changes, just like yours did. And when you put the two magnetic fields together, it charges both of you up more than individually how you charged up. So it's really a gift that keeps on giving, if I may use the cliche term. So pay it forward. That's amazing. I just love that. Wonderful. Great conversation. You guys got me all excited now. This is great. Thank you so much. Natalie, I love your work as well. Keep shining. Keep shining. All right. There are no more questions coming through today, right now, in this moment. Oh, Sandy, you're most welcome. You are most welcome. As a matter of fact, as I mentioned in the 4-week course workshop, HeartMath workshop, we're actually going to open the kimono. We're going to open the curtains, pull back the curtains, and we're going to show you the actual HeartMath science behind HeartMath, and exercises and exercises and downloadable workbooks for you to practice. And we're going to take you through 4 weeks of that. So at the end of 4 weeks, you can actually take that around and actually experience that with your clients and your customers, whoever you are. And by all means, if you've got kids in school, children that you can teach to, this would be amazing to teach to them, because we saw earlier how children with ADHD can actually help them focus in school. They can actually do well in many things, so they get less frustrated. If you know somebody who's suffering from PTSD, this is a wonderful thing to teach. So I implore all of you to begin to spread this and share this. Yes, thank you, Sandy. Your comments about helping you to share with friends and clients. Yes, you're most welcome. Yes, the actual details are in the email that you would have received earlier, or when you actually close out of this program here, it'll automatically take you to the website of where you can register for this particular workshop. It's an online workshop, begins April 5th, and there's a significant discount until March 15th or so. All right. Is there a recording available for this webinar? Yes, of course it is. Of course there is. There's a webinar recording that you will have, and you'll have access to forever. Like I'll make it available so you can download it and open it up whenever you want. All right, wonderful. Yes, Natalie, you're in the middle of the night in Europe, and I'll see what I can do about that. I may be able to. I was thinking about actually doing an intermittent webinar. It's just a Q&A, half an hour thing, and maybe I'll move that sometime where it's more convenient for people who are in Europe and other places like that. So, and it'll also be appropriate for us too. So if we move it to the evening time, maybe it's the early morning for those in Europe, and I'll figure out the timing on that. But we'll do the 6 p.m. to 7 p.m. is the time when we're doing the workshop, and then we may have something which is in between the online sessions, which will just be Q&A and connecting in. So I'm still formulating that to see how that goes. All right. Wonderful. I didn't mean this to turn into an infomercial, but I really thought that since you guys were having some great responses to the breathing technique, that this might be wonderful for you, and I've discounted it hugely for my friends and family here. It's normally $99 that I put it out there to the rest, but I put it down to $33 for the next few days. So by all means, join in if that calls to you. If not, I'll see you here again next week on Mondays. All right.